We are each doing our top 3 characters that should have their own spin-off. This is Talk Punch. Thank you so much to both our audio podcast listeners and our YouTube viewers for joining us. I'm Brody. I'm joined by Tudong Dylan.
Hey!
And the man of 1,000 nicknames, Charlie Hickman.
Hello!
And if you haven't already, we would love it if you liked, subscribed, hit the notification bell so you can come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us and have some fun. Because this one was harder than I thought it was going to be. So I'm really curious what you guys wound up with. Was there a way that you built this list? Did you just go off memory? Did you look at movies? How would you do this?
There were several ways that I did this because I ended up with several versions of this list. It was an interesting thought exercise, and I kind of had some like gut instinct, like, okay, all right, this is how I'm going to do it for sure. And then I was like, no, that's terrible. And I scrapped the whole idea. And I'm like, now, so what I ended up with is kind of one from each like genre of idea, which I'll explain during my thing. So wow. I've got kind of like three angles that I picked from, and that's kind of how I got my list.
Nice.
Okay. Tudong, how about you?
I looked at some of the things that I usually look at on IMDb, and I was just like, my number 2 was the first one that I figured out. I was going to put him at number 1, and then I found a really good number 1, and so that number 1 went to number 2, and then I had to figure out number 3. It was very mathematical.
It sounds like it. No science. I mean, you're a mathematical person, so that makes sense.
That's true.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of movies. I kind of stuck in franchises, and I was like, okay, who's the character that kind of was around a lot, and then didn't kind of have their own thing. Not all my characters were around a lot, but there were some characters that really stood out. But I know that I've said in previous podcasts, like, this character should have their own movie, and so that's what I was trying to go off of. All right, well, let's get into it. What did I say the order was? Gone.
Charlie, me, you.
Yeah, me, Dylan, Brody.
All right.
So my number 3, I went for something that's kind of like I was surprised it hadn't happened yet.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like a nice, obvious choice. And then I kind of did a little research, and it was talked about for a while, but never kind of came to fruition. All of my picks are characters who I thought were kind of like I went for, at first I had a list of like really small characters.
Okay.
I can do some honorable mentions at the end to let you know. It's like characters that had like less than a minute of screen time. And I was like, no, okay, let me do some characters that are a little bit more involved in the stories, but they weren't allowed to be as interesting as I thought they could be because there were so many other elements that were involved in the story. This first one is from a movie that we've talked about all enjoying on this podcast. The first one was great. The second one was, but a hit girl movie. I'm surprised this hasn't happened yet. She was absolutely like far and away the best parts of those movies. And the most
Nicolas Cage was great too. Big Daddy was awesome in that movie.
He wasn't the best part though.
Who was great?
Nicolas Cage is Big Daddy.
You're gonna be fine, baby doll.
How was that? Not so bad.
Yeah, that's part of her storyline. Like the least interesting part of Kick-Ass is Kick-Ass. And the most interesting part is Hit Girl and her relationship with Big Daddy. And I found, as I was thinking about this, like she was 13 when she made the first one. My goodness,
that's crazy.
That's like your daughter's age, bro. That's like I have a kid older. I got a kid older than Hit Girl now. But like she's like 27 now or something like that. So like a 27-year-old Hit Girl just like absolutely laying waste to like cartels or whatever danger you want to put her in. But Chloe Grace Moretz is a fantastic actress. Hey, give me some Matthew Vaughn.
Yes.
Take Matthew. Give me a different director.
Matthew Vaughn.
I enjoy Matthew Vaughn. If he's not into it though, that doesn't mean we can't make it happen. But like, it's just a centralized story on her. As I was thinking about this, I'm not in like a mood for like a reboot. Like, I don't need to see another 13-year-old actress playing the role in like a solo film. Give me, 27, Chloe out there, just in a purple wig, just kicking ass without kick ass.
Nice. That's a good pick.
This is a great
hit,
pick,
girl.
That's a great pick. And this is one of those examples, at least for me, that the movie is way better than the book. I like the kick-ass Big Daddy relationship and the ideas behind them in the book were not as good as the movie. So the movie excelled. No, but this is a great pick. I love Matthew.
Excellent.
My prediction is that'll be the last time you say that about my list.
Oh, well, we'll see.
All
right,
doubt it. All right, this one could obviously never happen, but I just thought it would be interesting and it would probably be very odd. But mine was from Apocalypse Now. I was like, my boy Marlon Brando, Colonel Kurtz. Want to see how he went crazy. Now, I know this will never, ever possibly happen, but I'd love to see his descent into madness, where he just goes crazy, Marlon Brando style crazy. Like I said, I know this would never happen, and I don't know who would be able to do it. Maybe, Billy Zane. I don't know if you guys seen a trailer.
He's playing Brando.
He is. Maybe he could do it. Yeah, he is, and he's doing a really good job of it.
In what?
I think it's called
Waltzing with Brando.
Waltzing for Brando. Yeah. There you go.
Waltzing with Brando. Yeah, and he gets John Hader and Tia Carrera, Richard Dreyfuss. It's a bunch of old heads in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Napoleon Dynamite, man, come on.
Mm-hmm.
No Uncle Rico though.
That's true.
Oh, Uncle Rico spinoff would have been fantastic. All right.
Well, basically that's it. I'd love to see Colonel Kurt's descent into madness. If we can't do it with Brando himself, we got Billy Zane. Like this, this was, like I said, this was the last one that I had picked, and I looked at it and I was like, I'd love to pick a Marlon Brando, but he's always the lead. And I was like, I'd like to see this one. Like, he made this character deep through happenstance, not by any whatever have you. He brought his intensity. He brought all sorts of madness.
Wild and overgrown now, but for about 5 miles, you'd think that heaven just fell.
He completely went against what Francis Ford Coppola wanted. And, a lot of the times, I think that's the smart move, because, Francis Ford Coppola, sometimes, once or twice, he could be great. And that's it.
Hey. We're not here to say anything bad about Francis Ford Coppola.
Hey, I thought I said something good. Saying that he had 1 or 2 moments of greatness is more than a lot of people ever have. And that's it.
You're gonna get the Copaholics on us. We don't want that.
I know.
It's true. Francis Ford Coppola does watch this podcast. He's probably gonna give me a call. He's gonna yell at me, but I'm trying to help him out.
He does.
I'm bringing him up, making him relevant.
Totally. All right. So my number 3 is a franchise that has a fair amount of movies, and this character was started off as one of the mainer characters, and then after a couple movies was dropped. And so I thought, and this may be controversial, you guys may hate this pick, I don't know. Dylan may hate this pick. Charlie may be like, maybe, but Dylan might hate it.
I'll hate it. Huh?
Well, now you have to. You're obligated.
And I just think that there's more that can be done in this franchise, and we could follow this character along. And that is Will Turner after he took over the Flying Dutchman.
Why would I hate it? I don't hate it.
Do you like Orlando Bloom? For some reason, I thought you hated Orlando Bloom.
No.
I think it's a general rule of thumb. Just, you can always assume that Dylan hates whoever you're thinking about.
That's actually probably very. That's true. If you'd have said Keira Knightley, I would have been like, yeah, I hate it.
Oh, Keira's great.
But he started off as like a main player in the first Pirates, and then Johnny Depp kind of stole the show, and then the whole franchise kind of just began to revolve around Johnny Depp, and we got Will in the first 3, and then he took over the Flying Dutchman, and then he was just kind of gone. And
this would be good. I think this would be great. This would be great.
And I believe their kid was in the 5th one or something like that, even though I'm not sure how the timeline of that works out. But Will Turner is out there someplace in the Davy Jones-esque role with the Flying Dutchman.
No.
Well,
He's not there anymore. You mean in the movie?
In the movie, yes.
Because because his curse is broken. He's not with Flying Dutchman anymore.
How is
He's
his
like
curse
at home.
broken?
He's chilling. He's good.
How did his curse get broken?
So
His son helped him out or something.
the last movie he was in, Pirates-wise, was Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales in 2017. I have not seen it, so I have no idea what happened in it. But Bloom is in that one, and it's the last one he's credited in.
I'm telling you, the curse was broken at the end. He comes home, and the stinger at the end involves him.
Oh, I remember him, and it must have been after the third one where he comes up on shore once a year to be with Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it would be there could be more cool Pirates of the Caribbean stories following Will Turner as a part of the Flying Dutchman, whether it's, where the timeline fits, I don't know. But I was like, that's a great pick. I think that's a great pick. I'm good on the Johnny Depp. I'm good on Jack Sparrow. Let's kind of focus. It's kind of like there's a big universe. Let's focus on some other people and because it's a neat universe.
Luckily, because he can't go on land, Keira Knightley doesn't have to be in it. It's a win-win.
Poor Keira Knightley.
You didn't pick her, bro. You didn't pick her. Do you know why? Because she started becoming like a main character for some reason. In the third one, she's like standing with like Johnny Depp and with all of it. I'm like, what is she doing there?
What do you mean becoming a main character? She was a main character in the very first.
She was
like the centerpiece of the first movie.
It was like those three.
Johnny Depp was less of a main character, then became more of a main. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. What matters is there is a void right now in cinema for pirate material. So give me some pirates. And that franchise, like I tapped out. It got a little ridiculous for my taste. But like this, I like a good pirate story, and I like it when we take the pirate stuff a little more seriously. I think there's a there's a hole that could be filled by this. So I don't hate it. No, I ain't mad at you.
I like it.
Excellent.
I like it.
I thought
we could also recast it.
I thought this would make you guys mad, so that's a nice surprise.
Oh, this is a good pick.
All right.
Well, my number two. Hey, speaking of making people mad, I thought long and hard about like sacred franchises that like for whatever reason I think would be really hard to reboot. So how do we find re-entry into a fun universe that we really can't for whatever reason, and the reasons will become clear as soon as that picture is up here, that we can't kind of just like, hey, let's just start it over, let's just do it over. And we can't just do a sequel, right? We can't do a sequel, can't do a reboot. Right. So it just kind of sits there in like this kind of like nebulous time capsule. And so I thought, you know what? Give me a Doc Brown story. And there's so much there's so much we could do with it. Like I recently rewatched this movie and the first one. And I thought, you know what? Like when I was a kid, obviously I saw this very very young, and everyone in the movie was old to me when I was a kid. But Michael J. Fox, and he's riding on skateboards, and he's doing all this cool stuff. He's playing guitar. I'm like, dude, that's the guy that I'm interested in. Watching as an adult, I'm like, the guy who literally invented time travel. Like, I want to know more about that guy. Like the disgraced nuclear scientist who who built a freaking time machine that runs on garbage in a DeLorean, and who goes off into the future and the past and has these amazing adventures. He's a sharpshooter with a sniper rifle. I mean, he does he can ride horses. He's like. He's like the freaking genius inventor, and I thought that this story could be anything. It could be like an origin story. It could be just Doc Brown having adventures, like minus Marty McFly. Look, Michael J. Fox was like it'd be so hard to replace him as a Marty. It's true. And so and now we got Rick and Morty, which kind of like muddies the waters of the whole Back to the Future thing anyway. But like, give me some Doc Brown stories. It could be time travel stuff. It could be literal Christopher Lloyd in his old age going back in time and hanging out with a young Christopher Lloyd doing. I mean, like, there's so many possibilities. And because there's a lot of possibilities and I don't have like one great idea, I put this at number 2. I think there's something here. I'm just not sure exactly what it is, but it'd be really fun. I like this character. I like this franchise. I think it'd be a cool way to kind of get back into it and maybe start some new stories around the time traveling DeLorean and maybe back away a little bit from the Marty McFly era.
Nice. That's a great pick.
Interesting. Yeah, this is good. That's true. We
Or do you think
really
we
got
hate
much
it? That's a
backstory.
great pick.
Great Scott.
Why did you think we were going to be mad about this, Charlie?
I don't know. I just, people. This is a sacred cow franchise. You can't. If tomorrow they announced that HBO was doing like a Back to the Future TV show, you guys would be pissed.
I just wouldn't understand how you had said already, how do you replace Marty like Michael J. Fox? I just don't know how they could possibly do it. The only thing that made me think, all right, I'd kind of roll with this one was it was Tom Holland as Marty and I don't know about that, and RDJ as Doc, or if you really wanted to make it crazy, they switched the roles and RDJ is Marty. Now you're really talking.
Oh man.
I love time travel stuff. It's fun, and getting away from the mother wanting to sleep with the son thing. I think it's a good thing for everybody. Just leave that in the time capsule, and let's just tell some wacky adventure stories. So
this is a great pick.
Thank you, guy. Well, I can't wait to hear your number 2, Dylan. Drop a big number 2 on us.
Oh,
what do you get?
Yeah, probably. Now, this one you guys are probably going to be either scratching your heads, you'll probably hate it. This was the first one that I had thought of, and I don't know if you guys have seen the not very much seen movie Assassins, but it's Antonio Banderas' character from Assassins, Miguel Blaine. Miguel Bain. I thought to myself, all right, yeah, he got shot in the end. He didn't have to be dead. Maybe he keeps going. Or you show him as a younger guy. And Tony Banderas is not that old. He still looks young. I don't care how you do it. His character was insane in this movie. And I loved every second of it. He made all sorts of just unbelievable choices where I was like, I don't know if he's on drugs. I don't know if he's just having fun. He must have just been having fun. He just looks like he was having a blast the entire time. Why not?
Was this the movie with Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not saying that it was a great movie, but I'm saying his performance in it, off the wall. I'd love to see how he got to be so unbelievably crazy, or I'd like to see him after this. He was wearing a bulletproof vest. He's like, he didn't kill me. That's fine. This one is a bit obscure, but it's not very old. It's not as old as the last one, at least. And either way, I think.
And now everyone knows where this GIF came from, because this is a great one. This is one that gets used often. Now you kids know it was from the movie Assassins with the
Nice.
I like him better as an assassin. Sylvester Stallone makes a terrible assassin. He walks in a room and you're like, uh-oh, I wonder which person the assassin is. Is it like the super ripped Jack guy? Like maybe. You notice him, that's for sure.
You definitely notice him.
That's true.
But this guy, he's not even he's like barely in the background in the first time he gets appeared. He was like in the cemetery, and you don't even really see him. He was shooting people. He did not care. He was just like, honey, I'm going to cut your heart out.
You gotta record a short. You got to record a short of a James Bond monologue, but done by Sylvester Stallone. But just spot on impression, where he's like reading through a nice James Bond.
Hey, it's a 007. Everybody, it's a terrible impression. I'll work on it.
All right. So my number 2.
Let's see it, bro.
I'm realizing that all of my picks are pretty recent. I was thinking about stuff from the 80s, and I was like, I think I'm going to stay more recent. I don't know why. Maybe I was hoping that these are ones that could actually come true. So this one is kind of interesting because it's a movie, but a special, because it came straight onto Disney Plus, and it's part of the MCU. And it's an area that they haven't really fully explored, and I think there's a lot of places they could go with it. So I chose Elsa Bloodstone from the Werewolf by Night special. That was like a movie. It wasn't a TV show. It was a movie. I don't know, walking the line.
We'll allow it, bro. We'll allow it.
TV special, no problem.
But it's I recently rewatched this with my kids, and there's. It alludes to this whole area of the MCU that hasn't been talked about or alluded to about the monster hunters. And we're getting Werewolf by Night. We're getting Man-Thing. We're getting all these creatures and the Bloodstones being monster hunters. And there's societies of monster hunters all over the place. And so I was like, man, it would be really neat to have more of that. You know, we've touched on like some different aspects in the MCU. We kind of got the witch stuff with the recent Agatha series. You know, I would like to see more of this monster stuff because, you know, we have a lot of it, and it's kind of a bummer that like Morbius kind of got wasted with the Sony stuff, because Morbius could have been involved with this monster stuff, you know, and you know, they've got like the Midnight Suns, they've got stuff like that could tie in with other characters who have been a part of that, you know, like Doctor Strange or something like that. I'd love to see a Ghost Rider or something like that.
Blade.
But Elsa
Come on, give us that Blade.
But yeah, Blade, you know, but Elsa Bloodstone was kind of walked away with that as sort of this main player by getting the Bloodstone and kind of being in charge of this whole monster hunting society. And I'm like, let's make a movie about her and these monster hunters and stuff like that. And so I was like, that would be really interesting. And I would really like to see that. Just a different side of Marvel. You know, let's get a little spookier. There was always talk of like Doctor Strange being like semi-horror. And even with Sam Raimi, we didn't quite get there. I think it kind of dipped its toe in with like the zombie Strange and stuff like that. But
you didn't get scared by that movie?
No. And I'm the one that doesn't like horror. I don't like horror. But I'm like, give me some of like the spookier Marvel stuff, and I think I'd be more into it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So there you go. Elsa Bloodstone. I think she could get her own movie. And you know, have her lead the Midnight Suns. I don't know. But yeah, I want some more of that. So there's my number 2.
Very good pick. Very good pick.
Well, Brody, you tried to stay realistic on things that could happen. I did not. Things that cannot happen is the theme of my list, and no better place number 1. Now, my number 1 is my number 1 because it just makes sense. I'm going to explain to you guys, and you're going to be like, this makes too much sense not to happen. But it can happen. It won't happen. But there was a movie in the 80s, as Brody mentioned that decade earlier, that was, on its surface, actually a pretty dull story, but filled with fantastical characters. And the side characters really stole the show and made that movie go from like a ho-hum kind of rom-com into an epic fantasy that's still beloved to this day, all these years later.
Star Wars?
There's a story that really is barely tapped on in that movie. And I think the main love story is by far the least interesting part of this movie. And I'm not just trying to be a grump here. But
I know.
You got it?
I know what it is.
Put up my slide, bro. Put up my slide.
I'm guessing it's Inigo Montoya.
Inigo Montoya.
Yeah. Oh, that's
the love story when you deconstruct it. Not so great, you know. It's and the little one-dimensional writing for poor Robin Wright Penn's character, not so great. What's great is a man searching for revenge, and I would love an Inigo Montoya origin story. It's just a swashbuckling action adventure movie. He is hunting down this 6-fingered man who killed his father. He's out there having adventures. We get to run into a Fezzik. We get to run how he meets Fezzik and Vincini. You could even have Miracle Max. You know, like you have like all these amazing side characters that you could kind of fill out a universe with. This could be its own like trilogy, for crying out loud. Just Inigo Montoya on the hunt, and then if you wanted to do just one movie, then you just lead it right up to the Princess Bride, and then you tip your cap and you say thank you for that entertaining film. Like Mandy Patinkin was fantastic in this role,
absolutely.
But also, you know, there's a lot of fantastic actors out there that could grow a mustache and get their hair kind of flowing locks. Please, not Mark Wahlberg. Other than that, you can't go wrong. A lot of good choices out there to be had. You tell me Tom Holland we're just gonna cast him and everything. Let's be honest. It's gonna be Chris Pratt, of course, but whatever.
Not RDJ. Come on, let's get Robert Downey Jr.
It's not my choice. I don't get to choose. But my goodness, this would be a fun movie. And of course, he doesn't find the six finger man, but the hunt continues. He finds other bad people and gets helps out some other people in distress. He's slicing, he's dicing. He's got a mustache, and he's an honorable man. And then he meets a giant. I mean, come on, man. This would be fantastic. I would watch the heck out of this.
This is a very
excellent sword fighting. Excellent sword fight.
If this movie
people are still quoting him.
Yeah, if this movie came out in like 2015, we absolutely would have had a spin-off series about Inigo Montoya.
Yeah, definitely.
No, this is an
excellent choice.
I didn't even think about this. It's a great choice. Did you think that people wouldn't like this?
Nice. I don't know. Like, these are sacred movies, and I know anytime you suggest, additions. And look, I hate prequels. You know me. Mm-hmm. I hate like prequels, but I like a prequel that's. And okay, I'm sorry. I know this is derailing things a little bit, but I just want to explain this a little bit. Most of the time, prequels are like, hey, here's this amazing character who has these abilities or is really cool, like Han Solo. Han Solo is awesome. Everybody loves Han Solo. He's super cool. Let's tell a story about him from when he was less cool and less interesting. Here's this, here's all these characters that are fantastic, and now let's do a prequel of like them being less fantastic, or or prequels are like, hey, like all these characters are gonna die. Let's get to know them a little bit more and love them before they die. So prequels tend to be just kind of like a less interesting story in general, but when you have a really interesting character who's lived a really interesting life, and you're just telling, essentially, it's not really like a prequel. You're just telling more stories with that character. It can't really be a sequel because now there's a whole band, and then you have to recast everybody. But a younger Inigo Montoya, I feel like a lot of people don't even know that that's Manny Patinkin. The young folk.
Yeah.
If you saw Manny Patinkin in like, some of the Criminal Minds or something, and then you're like, wait, that's the guy from Princess Bride, or the other show that he was in. Are you
kidding?
He's great singer too. Manny Patinkin, national treasure.
Interesting.
Fun fact: I did this scene with Fessick and Wesley in my German class in high school. We had to do it all in German.
Wow.
Auf Deutsch.
Can you still do it?
Oh no, that was the dumbest. Taking German in high school was by far one of the dumbest decisions. If there was ever a time machine that you could go back and just correct small mistakes in your life that had no real like impact on later life, just like going back and be like, you idiot, take Spanish. You live in California. What's wrong with you? Don't be different. Don't try to be different. Don't try to be cool and just do something to be unique. You idiot. Do something that makes sense. You'll use it.
True. Very true.
There you go. Lesson learned.
Stupid kid. All right.
What
was your number one, Dylan?
My number one, and I was surprised that I didn't choose this one. And speaking of choosing, my number one choice is Chosen Toguchi from Karate Kid 2 and from Cobra Kai. Yuji Okamoto. I don't care if it's a prequel. He has to star in it as himself. None of this recasting shenanigans. He was fantastic before. He's fantastic now. If there's anybody who could be as loved as Nathan Fillion, it's Yuji Okamoto. Especially as Chosen Toguchi. He is my favorite character in the Karate Kid series, and subsequently the Cobra Kai series. Turned it from a horrible bad guy who is still very lovable into an absolutely badass good guy, still very lovable. And I know that the last season of Cobra Kai is coming out. Season 6 part 2 is coming out really soon, and he's going to be in it. Nothing better happened. I'll tell you this. I have to kind of watch him in pieces out of Netflix. And I saw at the end of season 5, I thought he was killed. Then I was just like, you know what? I'm done with this series. If he's dead, I'm out. You lost me, Cobra Kai. You don't kill off Chosen Toguchi. You have him be the star. That's who it is. I want to see what he's been doing. I want to see him getting back together with Kumiko. He teaches in Okinawa. He is a Miyagi-Do teacher. Probably the best since Mr. Miyagi. This character, this actor, you can't go wrong. They talk about different sorts of spin-offs, and this is the one that should be. When I was looking at all of these, I was like, how did I not think of this before? This is the man right here. I was trying to find a Nathan Fillion one, and you know what? I got somebody just as good with Yuji Okamoto. Fantastic actor. Fantastic character. I love the whole thing. Have you guys been watching Cobra Kai? Probably not, huh?
I haven't, no.
Unbelievable. Either way, the point is, one of the best characters in the Karate Kid series. Absolutely fantastic. And he still just beats the snot out of people. Give me some more Chosen Toguchi with Yuji Okamoto, because fantastic actor. He runs and owns Kona Kitchen over in Seattle, and one of these days I'm going to go over there and be like, I don't know, I'll have to think of a line. I wanted to get a gif of him when he was in Karate Kid 2 taking off his shirt, and he's like, you keep your collection, I know you like it, to Kumiko. And he's going to come on, he's got to get back together with Kumiko. Either way, the point is, I'd like to see this movie, TV. I don't care. This is the way to go.
Are you excited for the new Karate Kid movie that's supposed to come out in 2025? Karate Kid Legends?
I don't know.
With
I don't know. I
Jackie
gotta
Chan
see.
And Ralph Macchio?
I
Joshua
don't
Jackson?
understand.
For some reason. I don't know what Joshua Jackson's going to do in it. But.
If this means that Yuji Okamoto is going to be chosen in that, then I'm for it. Otherwise, I don't really care. You give me a Chosen spinoff, now we're talking. If I see the trailer, I like Jackie Chan. I like him a lot. Somehow, I mean, it's really funny because I read the synopsis. They're like, oh, they're both going to teach this kid. Jackie Chan's gone over this in like the one that he did with Jet Li. They were like, hey, only one master with a student. And he would beat the snot out of Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso, all of those people. He is unbelievably talented. I mean, Jackie Chan is. So I don't know. I'd have to see a trailer, but this I am looking forward to. Give me some more Chosen Toguchi.
And Yuji, he was great in Real Genius and Better Off Dead.
Yes.
We had a nice little run of early 80s.
Interesting. Interesting.
All right,
I
Brody.
haven't seen Cobra Kai, so I can't comment too much. I'll take your word for it. Okay, so my pick is probably the most controversial because this one I really don't think either of you will agree or understand why I chose this character. But
I don't get it.
Because this character has a very small role in a movie, and I fell in love with this character when he was in this movie. And this was one of the moments that we talked about the movie here. And I said, I want a spinoff of this character. And so it's controversial because it's coming from the DCEU, but it's one of the characters to survive the DCEU and continue on in the new DCU James Gunn universe. So I'll go ahead and stop hyping it up. It's Weasel from The Suicide Squad. This character was so funny. He was in like the first 10, 15 minutes of The Suicide Squad. It looked like he died. He actually lived. He's going to show up again in the animated Creature Commandos. But that's an anime. It's not going to serve the same justice that having the live action Weasel played by Sean Gunn, that I was rewatching some of the scenes today, and they are still so funny. He just makes noises. They talk about him being like a killer. He's killed like 27 children. Like, he's just so funny. He's licking the window. He's just like, and I just laugh when I see him. I watch the epic walkout with all of the Suicide Squad, and he's just there. He's naked. It doesn't make sense. I don't know, but I fell in love with him, and I was like, he needs his own movie. I want something. You know, if Peacemaker can get his own show, let's give something to Weasel. I want Weasel to come back, not just in Creature Commandos. I want more live action Weasel because he's so funny. And yes, maybe I love him so much because he was so brief maybe if there was a full movie of him as like a main character, it might grow
like
old
killing kids
really quickly. Well, no, he can be reformed. He can be
the story of how I murdered 27 children.
No, he can turn from his evil ways and become a good guy. I don't know.
That's not a prequel.
I'm surprised that you would want to see. I'm surprised you want to see this movie, Bertie, because at some point there would be a shower scene, and can you imagine all the weasel hair clogging that drain?
He wouldn't be in my shower.
Hair falling off and clumps, just clump after clump of hair. Oof.
Oh no, it is gross. When he jumps out of the plane and lands in the water, it is so funny. Dylan, did you ever see the Suicide Squad? Did you ever watch that?
Not yet. I haven't yet. I know.
Nathan Fillion's in it.
Nathan Fillion is in it.
He's in it for 5 minutes.
He's in it for longer than Weasel is. So
he actually survives. He does survive, but he's still not in it.
Yeah, watch it just for Weasel.
Do you watch Cobra Kai? I'll watch this.
Oh, come on. 4 seasons of Cobra Kai versus 1 movie.
Six seasons. Six seasons, bro. 6 seasons in a movie. 6 seasons and a movie. Community.
I remember falling in love with him, and when I thought of this, I was like, this is my number one. It's still so funny to go back and watch. I want more. So give him a spinoff. Come on, James Gunn. So
it's your brother.
Why not?
Yeah, it's his brother.
Let's do a crossover with him. I'd watch a buddy cop film of this of him and Rocket.
Right.
Yeah.
Rocket could be like I'm getting too old for this, and then we got our loose cannon here who's just licking people, and Rocket's trying to stop him from killing children all the way through. I'd watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Kill the kids.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick too. You guys are always so self-conscious about your picks, but the real thing is, the real question is your honorable mentions.
Oh, I know. I had one that I thought I would catch flack for, so I didn't include him, and that was Wilson the ball from Castaway. What happened to Wilson?
You get flack for that.
Did he float away? Did he land up on a beach? Did someone pick him up and take him home? What happened to him? I just want a whole movie about what happened to Wilson the volleyball.
That's not
like an hour bobbing in the ocean.
That'd be
It could be one of those tracking
shots.
Like
a Pixar film, so like
just a tracking shot. A shark will eat it, or a fish will eat it, and then the fish will get caught, and then it'll wind up on a boat, and then he'll get thrown off the boat and roll to somebody's car, and then get bumped. Just one of those. Somehow he'll find his way back to Tom Hanks.
He's got to end up on a naked beach where they play volleyball with him. Come on. I thought of the. I will admit I didn't know how it could be done, but I did think my honorable mention would be from Tombstone, Doc Holliday. But I'm like, I don't know how that would work. But then again, I don't know how they could do Colonel Kurtz either. He actually Doc Holliday has a very interesting. He was like a dentist before. At least he posed as a dentist. I don't know how you pose as a dentist. He's like, I'm going to shoot that tooth out of your skull. I have no clue, but I that would be interesting. That would be my honorable mention. Charlie, what's yours?
I thought of a bunch of random ones. I thought it would be kind of fun. Just like one of the weirdest ones that I thought about was, could we have a Bruce Campbell as like the ring announcer from Spider-Man spinoff, where he takes over the underground wrestling, and it's just Bruce Campbell like being awesome, and then it takes place in the same universe as like these villains, and every now and then maybe they show up in the movie or something, but he's just running an underground wrestling ring. I'd watch underground wrestling with Bruce Campbell. I'd watch the heck out of that for an hour.
Oh yeah.
Could I interest you guys in like a Gremlins movie, like the Mr. Wing, or an origin story of like how he found Gizmo in the first place, like out there, his encounters with the Gremlins and like I guess what was that movie, 84? So maybe like in the 50s or 40s.
Didn't that happen in the
You could have some
animated?
interesting scenery and locations.
Didn't
that was like set based in the 1920s, and that's an animated TV show. And the reason that I didn't put it on my list is because there is a cartoon that exists that I've never seen, so I don't know. What about Tom Cruise as Les Grossman? right? From Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. They were thinking about doing that. I don't know if they're still going to.
I also thought
that
about
would be a fun one.
I was thinking about
great.
Benji from Mission Impossible, the Simon Pegg character.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what could he do? But then I was like, well, but he works so well with the team. I just love seeing the team. So.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
I could do with like an Emily Blunt spinoff of like the Edge of Tomorrow, like because she had the repeating date version.
Right.
That would be great.
So I'd love to see that. I thought that would be really cool. I just thought that was kind of more of like it didn't seem like a spinoff as much as it would just be like an Edge of Tomorrow 2, but like a prequel. I don't know, but I think that would be a neat movie to watch. I'd be into that. There were some other ones that I thought about that would be interesting. I think there's something that you could do with like the Firefly universe. Like if Serenity hadn't done some things that Serenity did, there were some suggestions that I would have had to have certain characters spin off into other movies that would have been more fun. But certain characters can't spin off from that movie, and we weren't doing TV show spin-offs. So, but a prequel movie to Serenity of like how the war started and like just kind of like all that stuff, and just to kind of open up that universe again, I think would be really fun. Do you think Tom Holland could pull off little Captain Malcolm Reynolds? You going for that?
Probably not, but RDJ could totally do it.
What about Chris Evans?
I mean, maybe Chris Evans, but RDJ, come on.
A seasoned veteran. If you're gonna have an older Malcolm Reynolds, just have Nathan Fillion do it. Like if we're gonna get a guy in his like in his like 50s, just get Nathan.
Like older than Nathan Fillion now.
You guys know, like Leonardo DiCaprio to turn 50, just turned 50. But yeah, I'm fine with Nathan Fillion. Bring back Nathan Fillion, spin him off in anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's just the main character, so I think he just gets to keep making Fireflies.
It's just his show still. Yeah.
But yeah. Although I think that was more interesting than I think they thought the Summer Glau stuff was going to be more interesting. I liked the main crew better, and it was more interesting than the Simon and his sister angle. But whatever.
Simon and River.
Sorry, Joss.
All right.
But there's lots of others, and we'd love to hear what your guys' ideas would be. What what characters would you like to see some small spin-offs of? Oh, I forgot the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth. Ooh. We talked about that in one of our Halloween episodes. He's got just a handful of screen time. That would be a scary. Him and Weasel could hang out. They are all just they eat all the children.
That's true.
So what a great movie that would be. So let us know what would you watch? What do you want to see happen? And which of our movies sounds interesting to you? We'll see you in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Make sure you click like and subscribe below that gorgeous beard over there. See you next time.
Bye.